There's a saying, an old saying, if you don't know your history, then you are bound to repeat it. It's cliche, but it's true. While it's a stretch, knowing and understanding other successful endurance athletes and runners' history, it might just prove to help you perform better, obviously, in your training, racing, and even your life. So in a few moments, we're going to go into the deep archives and get to hear how ex-pro runner and triathlete Mike Trees got started in his 50-year-long endurance career and counting. He just turned 60 years old and still can run a 17-minute 5-kilometer 5K race. So keep watching on to find out how to train, race, and live better and with purpose for as long as possible in your life on this episode of Trees and D-Lake. What you will learn, where Mike is at right now in his fitness, training, and racing, how he got here and the early beginnings, an awesome story about his first race failure and what he learned, and much more. Let's get right into it. Tell me a bit more about makes you wake up every day and want to have your lungs burn when you've been doing that for, the last 40, 45 years.
I'm a perfectionist in some ways, and I'm not in others, so I can drift along and just keep going. There's always something, even when I've run really well, she said to me, even when you do really well, you think you could have done better. But on a good race, I think, no, if I can just get this little right and tweak that, I can go a little bit more. There's a little bit more to give. I just keep pushing it and thinking, and a lot of my friends say, you just got to outlive everyone. You will set a world record one day. Just outlive everyone. And a lot of my friends say, you just got to outlive everyone. You will set a world record one day. Just outlive everyone. And it might be that it's 101 to 105-year-olds, but you'll get there. So the aim is to live a long time and eventually get there and set a world record one day.
I actually have a similar, I think musicians and artists, they have a similar, it's always, there's a saying, it's my next work is my best work. Every single musician you talk to, you're like, oh man, that album that you just put out is great. But the problem with the album is that they've been working on it for the past year, 2 years, 5 years. And they're like, no, that's my old stuff. The new stuff I'm working on right now is going to be even better. And every single, the most accomplished, they can win 40 Grammys. They're always like, no, my new stuff is going to be better. So I just feel like it's a certain personality type of thing. Let's take a little bit of a time machine and go back to how you stepped up to your first race. What was the feeling and the emotion? Who influenced you? Give me a backstory if you want on that.
So my mother and father played mixed doubles at Wimbledon. They were amateurs. They got knocked out in the first round. My father was, he actually went for trial to be the goalie for Wolverhampton Wanderers football team. He was a cross-country runner. So my first race at the age of 9.5, I was 200 meters behind Andrew Lawrence, who was the national champion at the time, just happened to be in our running club. So he ran round in about, he was a few years older than me. I think he ran about 2:04 and I think I did 2:40. So about 30 seconds behind. Flat last, absolutely last. So from then on, okay, let's try and work up the ranks to second last and see where we can go from here. And in those days, you didn't run for fun. There was no fun running and, I'm a jogger, I'm going to enter this fun run or whatever. It was just, you either ran and you tried to win or you didn't run. End of story. I wasn't training that much. And it was around about 14, 15, he said, you're going to have to start training every day or maybe doing some double runs and things. The first cross-country race of that season, I came out and it was more fluke than anything. I think I needed the confidence. I'd normally been coming, 10 to 20th by this time. I'd moved up a little bit from the 30s and I was somewhere between 10 to 20th in these Northeast races. I misjudged the finish, so I started sprinting through the woods. And then they said, one more lap round there through the trees to get the finish. Oh, bugger me. So I just kept on going and actually held it, realized I keep going and came third in this race. And I think it was a confidence thing. How hard can I hold this pain for? How much can I do it? And as a kid, I wasn't a mature kid. I grew up later. I was always a little bit behind on my studies relative to the kids around me. I just think I just progressed as a runner a little bit later than everyone else. And so it's about 15, 16 that I started to get in the top 3 in the northeast of the UK in road races regularly.
Are there any more failures that you had in a young age that you'd say that you're using now?
And at 16, I ran 4:05 for a 1500 meters. It's a good time for a 16-year-old. I was a year young, and being a year younger than the others, you're at a disadvantage. I'm now on my way towards becoming a runner. It took me 2 years really to get the running sorted. So the following year, from coming 11th or 12th, but top 15 in the English school, the following year I did the National Cross Country Championships. And I was running around thinking, whoa, I'm going nowhere here. Obviously, I'm trying so hard and not winning. I'm just going to enjoy running. For about a year or so, I didn't really run very hard. I didn't run much. I just drifted a little bit and just kept running and enjoying it. When I got to university, I missed a lot of the early running, but I just went running with them one day and realized I could keep up with the guys. And the coach at the time said, hey, why don't you join us? Why don't you run with us? You're quite talented.
All right, I'm going to stop you there because the story's getting good. You were at university now. We're going to stop that. We're going to save for the next episode in this series of the Mike Trees history.